Next up, at UFC 270, we have Michael Morales versus Trevin Giles. Michael Morales is 12-0 with 10 stoppages. Trevin Giles is 14-3, 3-2 in his last five, coming off the loss to Duplessis. Michael Morales is an absolute killer. He's a freestyle wrestling national champion, a Muay Thai national champion from Ecuador. He has fantastic footwork and a great jab. He's a Muay Thai national champion, but he doesn't have that traditional Muay Thai stance. He has a nice, loose boxing stance, and that allows him to work in and out so well. His takedowns are clean. They're more throws and trips than actual lower your level, shoot on the hip type takedowns. And my only knock on him would be that sometimes he's a little slow to engage and take his time and pick his spots. Trevin Giles is very athletic. He's a grappler with a solid jab. He's pretty light in his feet, and he does a nice job of working in and out of range. He'll throw a combination, then step completely out of range and reset. Regardless of what the stats say, his wrestling offense is not very good. His submission defense, however, is absolutely incredible. If you go back and watch his fight against Brendan Allen, but in the LFA, he defended every single submission attempt you could possibly imagine and ultimately snuck out his own submission. Trevin Giles, listen, he's got decent striking. His takedowns are pretty poor. His grappling is good, but I don't think that's enough here. His athleticism has gotten him through some fights that he shouldn't have won. But again, I don't think that's going to happen here. I like Morales to win the fight. I think he's better everywhere except the pace and engaging. My only concern is that Trevin may just march forward, stay in Morales' face, and then that'll give him a hard time, especially Morales, who can take his time. But Morales is the pick. This is a great measuring stick fight. We will find out if Michael Morales is fantastic or just okay. Because Trevin Giles is good. He's athletic, but he's pretty raw. And I think Michael's more talented everywhere, so I got Michael winning this fight.
Yeah, this is actually kind of crazy. When I was looking at this fight, Michael Morales, first of all, he was born in the year 2000. You know how ridiculous that is to think that this kid was born in the year 2000? He's 21 years old, born in the year. I don't know why I saw that. I'm like, Jesus Christ, I'm old, man. That is crazy. And already be 12-0. And as you mentioned, the talent behind this kid is just unreal. And we'll see what happens here. I was actually kind of surprised that the odds were as close as they are, because if you look at these guys on film, Trevin looks like a guy that just kind of, I don't want to say lucks out wins, but it seems like he just kind of is there, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, Trevin won the fight. In that fight against Roman Dolidze or whatever, he kind of snuck that one out as well. He was my lock of the week that week, I think, and then he wins the fight. That's how it goes. But I agree that for him to win the fight, for Trevin Giles to win this fight, I think it's going to be the grappling. Let's see how good a grappler Michael Morales is. I think he needs to do the offensive takedowns. But in the meantime, you mentioned the patience of Michael Morales to be able to just kind of, he'll be on his back foot and he'll be against a cage, but he's waiting for those counters. He's very good at it. I think Trevin just kind of worked the jab, work the jab. He's one of those guys that calls himself the best boxer in the UFC. He's a very good boxer. I wouldn't call him the best boxer, but he can work a jab very, very well. And against those young guys that's waiting to, right. And against those young guys, in the bright lights, sometimes you get jabbed a few times in the face and you just kind of start to panic. So I'd work the grappling, and I'd be careful because, last fight against, Duplessis or whatever, Duplessis, in the second round, Trevin was showboating almost because he landed a couple strikes. You know how many total strikes Trevin had in that fight? It was in the second round when he got knocked out. 10. He landed 10 total strikes. And it was landed 2 strikes. It was hands out, showboating, and then got dropped. I think the same thing that could happen in this fight if he starts showboating like that. But I think Trevin probably should win the fight, with the grappling. But I'm going Michael Morales all the way. I think that he's young enough and is good enough and talented enough to catch Trevin in those situations. So I'm going Michael Morales.
Yeah, nice. We're aligned on this one, and honestly, it's not that shocking. The guy's a national wrestling champion, national Muay Thai champion, and the favorite. And like you said, Trevin Giles is a very talented, athletic guy, but some of those wins get a little questionable. The money is basically even in DraftKings. I think there's some value on Michael Morales, but depending what my lineup looks like, I'm not a big fan of UFC debuts in DraftKings, unless I'm 100% positive. And he's not truly a UFC debut, but it's close enough.
Yeah, I think he's a little too unproven. I think that Giles is going to test his grappling. I think that's going to happen. Yeah. If the grappling holds up, I think he's going to dominate. And if it doesn't, he could be in real trouble. So we'll see.
Yeah,
and that's tough for DraftKings to have a question mark on the grappling.
Well, and Trevin Giles, him winning would not be shocking. This is not like a guarantee. On paper, Michael Morales should dominate, but like you said, Roman Dolidze should have dominated too. Now, I think Roman won that fight, and it was a bad decision, but it was still close enough to be a bad decision, which shouldn't
Trevin
have
had the
happened.
power. He had the power shots. He was just throwing bombs and was landing.
Well, and it just shouldn't have. It shouldn't have happened. He was that much more talented, and so is Michael Morales. So Trevin Giles does have a knack for winning some of these fights. So I'm not spending the money in DraftKings because it's not like Trevin's a big enough underdog to throw it at, and Michael Morales, too many questions. Monkey Knife Fight, though, it's probably a more. Another more. Yeah, I think these guys go at it multiple rounds. If you want 50 free bucks, go to wewantpicks.com/bets. Sign up with any one of our 5 betting partners. Make a deposit. Let me know, and I'll send you 50 bucks. As we were doing the last breakdown, I was talking to Abel on Instagram saying, hey, can I sign up with another one and get another 50 bucks? Yes, you can. Do all 5. I'll send you 250. Doesn't matter. 50 bucks. Just sign up with them. Make a deposit. Let me know. We'll verify your account and go ahead and get you paid. And you want to play Monkey Knife Fight? WeWantPicks.com/MKF.